Right, next one is a bit of a change of gear because we're going into RF technology. And this comes from Brad Thillmony. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Unusual name for English people anyway. So anyway, latest trends in RF technology. Okay, over to you then, Brad.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. As mentioned, a little bit of a change in this part of the presentation, but I think we're all here to try to increase market share, and we're all trying to do that by increasing our knowledge base. And my presentation kind of talks more about the tools, the best way to select them, how some fit better than others. So with that behind us, brief word about Comtech EF Data. Many of you know us for our modem products. Comtech EF Data also is big in the RF amplifier converter business. This afternoon you'll hear from one of my colleagues on the Comtech Zycom products, the tube-based kind of products. So we shall begin, if I can figure out how the clicker works. Wow, that's a button. There we go. All right, so to begin, again, this is more detailed on particular amplifier solutions and such, so not so much the broader network, but let's focus down on the tools that are actually being used. So roughly 8-10 years ago, within the world of Satcom, amplifiers started transition from gallium arsenide to gallium nitride. And a lot of competitors made hay in the market that gallium nitride is the best thing ever and that you'd be a fool to use anything else. And I just want to highlight that really it's not that unique. It's a little bit of a different way to solve the problem, but it's certainly not this one's glaringly good and this one's glaringly bad. So what you want to think about is why we would want to change our technology, something that's been proven for 20 some odd years. And the main reason is that gallium nitride allows us to be more power efficient. And that addition in power efficiency lets us make packages smaller, lets us make it more cost effective, and you can demonstrate that not looking at vendors' products, but actually looking at the devices themselves. So you can see at a usable output point that GaN is almost twice as efficient as a gallium arsenide amplifier. Think of a gallium arsenide amplifier as an incandescent light. You turn it on, it's on. A gallium nitride amplifier is a light with a dimmer. You bring it to the light you want, and actually it reduces your power consumption. So what that does is, because we don't have to dissipate as much power, everything about these amplifiers is getting the heat out. So less power, smaller packages, smaller power supplies, a little bit better dollar per watt ratio for the end user, as long as you're using it at what's generally accepted as acceptable power levels. But when GaN was introduced to the market, people didn't want to tell you what it didn't do well. And that's kind of what I'm here to talk about, for better or worse. There are some things GaN does not do as well as GaAs. There are challenges that manufacturers such as Comtech Zycom are working to overcome. Because in the end, your way to better market share is offering a better solution for your customers. So here's the challenges. The curve on the left is input power versus output power, and it's what we're very used to working with. And you can see it has a very sharp roll-off. Input power is on the bottom, output power is on the top. There's a point where they start to split apart from the desired, but it's a very well-known curve. So I can specify an amplifier at some working point, and everyone familiar with the art can say, oh, I can use it here. The curve on the right is more reflective of a gallium nitride-based amplifier, and you can see there's a much larger transition area, So no longer can you use traditional ways of specifying amplifiers. Saturated power doesn't really help you anymore. P1 dB doesn't really help you anymore because it does not infer where you can actually use the amplifier. So, where does this take us? What else does GaN have kind of a bit of a headache with? So refresh your memory, intermods. You know, everything we do is about how much power can you use without distorting your carrier and without interfering with people next to you. Intermods is a measure of that performance. As soon as I put two carriers into, you know, a non-linear amplifier, I get mixing products out. The satellite people really don't like it when your mixing products interfere with other people's carriers on that same transponder. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is that the devices themselves behave differently. We are used to amplifiers like tubes and gallium arsenide, where the more I'm backed off from power, the better the intermod performance gets. So if the satellite provider calls you up and says, hey, you have to reduce your output power because you're interfering with the people next to you, with any GaN amplifier or gas amplifier or tube amplifier in the market, that's easy. You reduce the power, away it goes. GaN doesn't really do that. Again, you can see the curve on the left that there is a point where reducing your output power actually will bring the intermods up. So now you're in this can't win for losing kind of place. The bandwidth providers called you up, you tried to reduce your power, and the intermods can actually come up and make the problem worse instead of making the problem better. And these are inherent in the devices themselves. I'm trying to keep the manufacturers out of our discussion. This is actually the parts as we all purchase them and implement them. The other issue with GaN is we are used to being able to run our carriers anywhere we want through the amplifier. We can put them together in one transponder. I can put them 4 transponders apart. I can put them at opposite ends of the satellite. And you can see the curve on the left. It's the intermod levels versus this carrier spread. And with a gas amplifier, it's pretty flat. But with quite a few GaN amplifiers on the market, you run into problems there. And this really caught a lot of the early adopters in that they purchase these high-power GaN amplifiers to replace something like a TWTA, so they're a larger uplink station, lots of carriers. They try to put the carriers all over the satellite, and suddenly they have all kinds of intermod issues. And that is one of the biggest challenges with GaN, in particular when you're doing multiple carriers. So, what causes it? And this is a buzzword you will hear in the market. You'll find white papers on the network about memory effect. And the thing that, you know, the name pretty much says it all. We are used to distortion that's real time. It's strictly dependent on input power versus output power. Memory effect adds distortion that is dependent on what happened a moment ago. And that's what causes the intermod kind of performance that you saw. So you can't linearize it because you don't know what happened a moment before. And this is one of the biggest challenges in getting GaN to work at the higher power levels, multi-carrier kind of operations. Okay? Good, everyone's up and awake? Yes. It is a good time to change gears. So, of course, you know, we're working very hard to address this. As discussed, you know, memory effect is a capacitance kind of effect. It remembers what happened a moment before. So to address it, you really have to get into the individual die level. You can't just buy a packaged device because it's inherent in the packaged device. So what's unique within Comtech EF Data, Comtech Zycom, and I'm sure there's probably other people working with this, is we have the ability to get to that detailed level required to fix this. So by using a chip and wire bond facility, we can actually take the actual die, do our own bias networks, eliminate some of the capacitance that goes on in the networks. It helps with the thermal transfer because the thermal issues are another thing that contributes to memory effect. We actually build these dies in our facility in Santa Clara. In particular at KA band, this is something that gives, the sorts of questions that you want to ask of a vendor. And this is the results. The top curve is similar to the curve I showed you before, intermods versus frequency, and you can see that non-compensated, you're going to have problems if you try to operate a KU band amplifier carrier spread apart. But with the improvement and the details you need to ask of your vendor to make sure these improvements are in the amplifier, you can see now there are solutions, there are GaN solutions on the market that will let you put them in place with TWTA and succeed. And same thing with KA band on the bottom. And this one kind of sums up. How do you compare power? Because that's really the biggest headache in the market, is there's so many different ways for vendors to advertise power, saturated power, tube power, P1dB power, P-linear, et cetera, et cetera. What it really boils down to, again, you want to offer the solution that best fits your needs. Think about your operating point. Think about the linear power point. And if you look at that, then you can see that the traditionally advertised 400 watt TWTA without a linearizer is roughly equivalent to today's 100 watt P-linear rated GaN amplifier. So just because the numbers look radically different, take a step back, understand your operating point, understand what you want to do with it, and you're probably going to find that they're actually fairly similar. And this really does sum it up. Don't let a vendor, because this, we make blue cars, you don't want white cars. We make everything, and there's others out there on the market. You want to make sure that you're not buying a tool because it's the prettiest one. You're buying the tool because it best fits the challenge in front of you. Okay? All right. Guess questions later. So.
Panel comes later.
Okay.
You take the rest at this point.
Nah, we'll go for later.
Yeah, no, we have a panel along here later.
Right.
All right?
All right.
Thank you very much.